Look around you. Everything in the modern world is engineered to ensure you are never truly alone. Never truly silent. Social media, networking, constant communication, a permanent, humming chorus demanding your attention, affirming your dependence, and celebrating distraction as a way of life. We have been sold a lie that the greatest failure in life is loneliness. That to be without constant company is to be flawed, rejected, or weak. This is a brilliant deception, a soft cage built by collective weakness. Because if you fear being alone, you will forever be controlled by the desire to belong. The true masters of self, the philosophers of the unyielding path, knew better. They recognized that loneliness is a temporary feeling caused by a lack of company. But isolation is something entirely different. Isolation is a deliberate choice. It is a strategic withdrawal. It is the single most valuable asset a man can possess. It is the dark, silent engine of true power. This video is not about retreating from the world in fear. It is about understanding that true strength is not built in the presence of the crowd, but in the profound, necessary absence of it. Examine the greatest Stoic minds. They did not retreat because they hated people, they retreated because they loved purpose more. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world, penned his immortal meditations not from a throne in Rome, but from remote military camps, away from the clamor of the court. He wasn't journaling, he was building his inner fortress. He was forcing separation to gain perspective. He was performing surgery on his soul. Epictetus, born a slave, preached the necessity of focusing solely on that which is within your control. And what is the one thing no one can take from you when you are in deliberate isolation? Your mind. Isolation is the ultimate test of the dichotomy of control. When external comforts vanish, you are left only with your faculty of reason. If you cannot stand your own company, how can you expect to lead others, or even lead your own life? We must ask ourselves, what are you afraid of hearing when the noise stops? You are afraid of the sound of truth. The deepest form of weakness is the inability to face yourself without the comfort of external validation. And this is where the dark aspect of this philosophy emerges. When you commit to absolute solitude, the masks fall. The excuses dry up. You are forced into a brutal, unvarnished inventory of your own character. You will see the undisciplined habits, the creeping cowardice you conceal, the irrational fears, and the weaknesses you blame on others. This is the forge. This is the fire. You are forced to confront your shadow self, the parts of you that are selfish, lazy, and small. The world tells you to love yourself unconditionally. The dark Stoic tells you to audit yourself ruthlessly. Because you cannot fix what you refuse to see. You must willingly sit in the discomfort of your own inadequacy, not to wallow, but to perform meticulous, cold-blooded surgery on your soul. This voluntary suffering, the forced silence, the crowd drains you of two things, time and attention. They are not merely distractions, they are thieves. Every superficial conversation you engage in, every social obligation you accept out of fear of rejection, every minute you spend scrolling through the endless feed of others' curated lives, this is a tax levied on your potential. It is a constant, subtle diversion of energy away from the massive, complex, generational goal that you are meant to be building. The true asset of isolation is the uninterrupted block of focused attention you reclaim. This is the time you dedicate to deep work, to creating the systems, acquiring the knowledge, and building the structural framework that separates the architect from the daydreamer. If your ambition is large, like transforming fallow land into a living forest, a legacy that outlasts you, it requires years of sustained, uncompromising effort. This level of focus is simply impossible while catering to the shallow demands of the collective. The world will call you strange, selfish, or cold. Let them. Their opinion is merely the sound of their own inability to commit to anything significant. You are not sacrificing your social life, you are sacrificing low-quality, low-yield engagement for high-quality, high-yield purpose. Isolation must be a routine, not a retreat. It is not an escape from reality, but a temporary suspension of external demands to better handle reality. Here are the rules for turning isolation into your power asset. First, the digital cull. Choose one day, or even one 4-hour block, and remove every electronic device that serves only to connect you to others. No notifications. No feeds. No endless consumption. If the goal is self-mastery, the tools must serve the master, not the other way around. Second, the uncomfortable audit. Dedicate the first hour of your isolation to writing down every single personal weakness, every fear, and every mistake you are unwilling to talk about publicly. Do not judge the list, simply document it with brutal honesty. This is your battle plan. Third, the single focus. Use the remaining time for the hardest work required for your greatest ambition. Use the silence to draw the blueprint, master the complex skill, or solve the systemic problem. You are training yourself to achieve flow state, where nothing exists but you and the work. You step away not to escape the world, but to return to it unbreakable. The true measure of your isolated effort is not how well you endured the silence, but how unflappable you are when you return to the noise. Once you have forged your mind in the furnace of self-confrontation, the trivial criticisms, the petty gossip, and the fleeting trends of the outside world lose all their power over you. Your perspective has widened. Your focus is unyielding. You return not as a dependent, but as a sovereign. You return to build. Your goal, to restore the land, to plant the forest, to leave a lasting ecological legacy, is a magnificent, long-term commitment. It requires years of focus that only the disciplined mind, forged in the stillness of deliberate isolation, can sustain. Do not fear the cost of your withdrawal. Fear the price of your perpetual connection.